This is a heavy story that Rabbi told, a little story on Achron Shal Pesach, 1958. The Rebbe relates, when the Rebbe Rashab and the Chassidic Rebbe were in Germany, they traveled on occasion. That's the whole story in its own right, this visit to Germany. So they visited, they met with many Ashkenazi Yidden and spoke to them about Chassidus and drew them closer to the study of Chassidus and Avodah Shebelev, davening, the service of the heart, as Chassidus guides and inspires us. So a number of years later, and another visit back there, so one of the Yidden that they had, Mimakar of Chassidus, who learned Chassidus, he said, every day before davening, and before Kriya Shema, he meditates in the meaning of Hashem Echad, Havaya Echad, as Chassidus explains it. Not simply one God and not two, but one God, and He's the only reality, nothing else. So he said to them, to the Rebbe Rashab and the Chassidic Rebbe, the Rebbe said this with a smile. He said to them that when he's mizboinen and he's thinking about Echad, he reached such a level as bald ein minut, almost an entire minute, he's thinking in meditation as he says the word Echad, 60 seconds. End of story, and the Rebbe told it with a smile. And this is what he said to the Chassidim. At the Fabrengen on Achron Shal Pesach. He says, what's this bond that is in Echad, that's Mesiras Nefesh? That's what it's all about. Hashem is the only reality, and therefore everything is that means the ultimate sacrifice. And nonetheless, it's possible that his Mesiras Nefesh in such a way that he's looking at the clock to see how long is the Mesiras Nefesh. Rebbe says the same thing as right now here. It's Achron Shal Pesach, we're Chassidic Fabrengen, we took mashke, wine, whatever, and it's over the limit. He's making a cheshbon, how much did it affect on him? He's going out of Mitzrayim. He's holding cheshbon on his spiritual advance. This is not the Avodah. The Avodah is where a person should not be holding the clock or even interested in the clock, and it's just the pure, and how much has he achieved, in other words, but rather the Avodah itself. I'm reminded of something that our teacher said to us, Rabbi Glick. And if I bring in this is now young teenagers, aspiring Chassidim. So we began to daven a little bit. We need to say, Barichos. On Shabbos, not during the week, during the week they were Seder. But on Shabbos to daven longer, to learn Chassidus, mikveh Chassidus, and then daven, ba'avodah, etc. As we said once, that if you daven ba'avodah, you daven for a few hours, really work hard on trying to understand, think about the meaning of every word, and then stop and rethink the maimer, the whole avodah that Chassidus demands. He said, you walk out of shul and you glance at the clock to see what time it is. So how long did I daven? He said, you just ruined everything. But once he said, so he walks out of shul, of course no one's there anymore, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, there's nobody there. So he's hoping at least the cat should notice. Somebody should notice, he's a Yid HaBocher, daven ba'avodah. He said, if that's where it's at, kindalach, he said, he didn't say don't daven. He continue. But no, we're holding by the ground zero. There's a lot of work to be done. So this is the Avodah. The Avodah is not to be wrapped up in the Avodah. And to take and look in the mirror, as it were, and how am I doing, how have I fared, how much have I grown? That's the very opposite of Avodah itself. It's a similar kind of sentiment that the Chassidic Rebbe said. Chassidic Rebbe said he doesn't want, I quoted this many times, he doesn't want Chassidim who who don't sin because they're too holy. He doesn't want Chassidim, he says. Stay far away from me. He says he wants Chassidim who don't sin because they don't have time. They don't have time. There's a shlichus, there's an avodah to be done. And that's why they're not sinning. Not because they have a scorecard. I'm not doing that because it's going to be a blemish on my record. I'm going to whatever. Even if he's not the level of forfeiting some Elam Haba, or compromising it rather. But because he wants to be, he's got an agenda, he's got to climb the ladder. He doesn't want to Chassidim. He wants that they're not doing Avedis, they're doing the right thing because there's no time. There's a commander and there's a mission. That's true Aveda. And that Rabbi often counsel, in this whole struggle with the ego, just be busy with what you have to do. Who has time? Who has time to make cheshbonos? How am I doing? Live in the moment. There's no time for this. What I'm showing with you is the famous Maimer of Yisir Meshakela Tavshin Beis, which we learned that the Rebbe cried a lot in this Maimer, 1952, a famous Maimer. And that the Rebbe cried that the Jew explained to Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai at the end of his life, said to his Talmidim, he doesn't know where he's going. Which way they're taking him? They're going to Gehenna or to Gan Eden? And the obvious question that Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai doesn't know. Doesn't know where he's going. I'm not speaking delusion here. I'm speaking Ish Emes. And the essence of the answer is, he never kept a cheshbon. His Korket has no idea. How did I do? Don't know. Now at the end of his life, when the avodah is over, and look back, no. How did I fare? No clue. That's the avodah. And God knows that today there has given us so much work to do. Taku has time. In Rambam, Mechitas, and being a parent, and being a husband, and then going to work, know what you have to do. So who has time for cheshbonos? Who sees, who doesn't see, how am I doing, how am I scoring? On the other hand, this is not to say that a person shouldn't have guidance in his avodas Hashem. Obviously, yes. We're talking about the scorecard component. So how well am I performing? That has to be not negated. All right, friends. Have a wonderful day. We'll dive in.